All right, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, y'all? Once again, it's Brian Forbes. We are live on Inside Steppin. And tonight, y'all are going to love this show. We got some real special stuff happening. I got a special guest, somebody you all know and love. And I promise you, this is not going to be one you want to miss. This is going to be a fantastic Inside Steppin show because we're going to talk about something that people just don't seem to have a conversation about in Steppin. And I'm going to tell you, it's real important. But before we get into that, let me start by saying, let me give shouts out and a prayer of safety for all of those in the line of Hurricane Nicholas or Tropical Storm Nicholas, whatever you want to call it. It's dumping water all over the place and it's causing a whole lot of problems. So for my people down in Houston who got their power out, you still able to see us on your cell phones. I hope all is well and all is going well for y'all. So, hang in there. I don't know. I would say if there's anything we could do for you, but I don't know what we could do. I don't know how to. I ain't into cutting trees and stuff. I can, but I ain't coming to cut no trees. I ain't gonna. It don't need me lying to y'all. Anyway, also y'all, don't forget tomorrow's my birthday. Haha. You can just wish me a happy birthday as you please. All right. So in the meantime, in between time, let's get this party started. And here we go. All right. So look, y'all, today's special guest. This is someone who, like I said, you all know and love. Very important individual, an important member of the Steppers community at large, nationwide. Somebody who has contributed in ways that I think many of us are not fully aware, and who lends quite a bit of useful information. And it makes a big difference, you guys, because there's so many people who come into this Steppin arena that are not aware of some of the things that went on and some of the things that we've dealt with and moved through throughout the history of this dance. And so it's very important that we have people like this to help us to make sure that we have the dance in order and keep it in order for that matter. Shouts out to Susu. I see you, baby. Thank you for checking in. So, with no further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I give to you Mr. Maurice Thomas. Hey, I should have had my applause up. Y'all forgive me. Anyway, Mr. Thomas, how are you this evening, man? It's good to see you, my brother.
I'm good.
And that's always a good thing, man. That's always a good thing. You know what I'm saying? So, tonight's topic, Mr. Thomas, is one that I know you are very well versed in because you and I have had discussions about this before. And in fact, it is what I would like to believe is a very important part of the Steppin game. And it's something that nobody else talks about. What? The music. We don't ever hear people discuss the importance of the music and why the music needs to be the way that it is. We just don't have these conversations. So, here's the deal, Maurice.
Yes, sir.
Tell us why. Give us some idea of why it's so important for these, especially when we talk about these instructors, because we know that across the country, some of these instructors are teaching this dance, but they're only teaching so much of it. Right. Tell us why it's so important for people to understand how critical the right music and music is in this dance. Wait a minute, hold on. How you doing, Mr. Thomas? Right. I'm sorry. I should have asked you how you doing today, brother.
I'm good.
I'm just jumping into it, right?
You're right. I mean, Brian, like you said, the music is, to me, is like at least 75% of everything before you even get to the dance. The music, you have to go with the music. The music is a vital, it's just like playing an instrument. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I think
I couldn't see, it's like trying to see John Coltrane play a violin.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? The music is so embedded in everything that us as African Americans do.
Now, Good
Music
point.
has been embedded in us in so many different ways and forms. That's why we have so many different styles and types of music out.
And that, of course, also is part of the reason why we have so many different types of dances as well, right?
Exactly, right.
Okay.
From calypso to African to stepping to just about everything you could think of, our music has been influenced in it.
Okay. So so let me. I want to start by really kind of talking about, because here's something that I found very interesting. I'm an
Right?
aspiring DJ these days, and so in my
I see.
education with all of these fantastic DJs that I encounter across the Steppin community who have been instrumental in helping to make me be a better DJ, there's something that I noticed in certain markets across the country.
Okay.
You can't play certain music. Like certain music
Okay.
will not go. It doesn't go over unless, of course, you got a national audience. But usually, if you
Right.
go to a place and you're dealing with the local people, you have to be careful what songs you actually put on in a stepper set, because they won't. They don't even really recognize or understand the classics that we danced to in Chicago from back in the day. What do you think about that?
Right. Well, the thing about the music that evolved in Chicago was it started with an agenda, and the agenda never changed.
Right.
And everything that came with the agenda came the dance, the DJs, the parties, and the overall selection of the DJs that were out, like Herb Kent.
Yep.
Herb Kent played a wide range of so many styles of music. Well, I started listening to it and understand these songs that he was playing, which really cultivated me into going into stepping.
Okay. And they usually told a story too. He was very good
Right,
about kind of keeping you in a certain groove. When he had you locked in, he would keep you in there with certain types of music. So yeah, I could see that.
right,
Now, I want to kind of get into like the depth of the music itself. Now, the other day, last week we had Reggie Miles on, and we got to talking
right,
about the music and some of the things, not in depth, but here's what I want to get into, because we would talk. What happened was the conversation came up about who was the I don't want to say creator, but the people who facilitated the ability for the dance to be broken down into 8 counts so that the average individual could join the dance. And in
right,
doing so, I don't know if anybody realized this, or if this is being taught, but it should be. There's an 8 count that is the basic. That's what everybody considers the basic. That's been what's been
right,
formatted as the basic for the dance. But
right,
what they also don't mention, that I think is very important, is that when you're listening to music, for those of you who are not into music and are not musicians, there's an 8 count in the music. Now, am I right or
right.
wrong? Yeah, I know, because I know you do a
Exactly.
little bit of
Right,
music, right, Maurice? You're a man of all talents. You one of those Renaissance
right.
fellows.
I mean, if you think about this, Brian, every music that has ever risen in this great life of ours is always on a scale and it's being measured.
Right.
Okay. And the measurement that we use is standard throughout all the dances that come into existence. They all have a measurement to it. That's
Right.
how they're created. So it's like grade school. They taught you the ruler, but they use money to break it down. 2 nickels equal a dime.
Right.
2 quarters equals a half a note.
Okay.
These are the things that were taught, and now you buy programs that structure all this. This is why we get music that's
Oh
synced.
yeah, you talking about the computer programs that you can buy that would actually allow you to build music?
Right,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
These are the songs that created. People are putting them over tracks.
Got you. So, in tying together the measurement in music to the count in the dance that
Right.
allows people to make those movements. Now, and here's, I guess, why one of the things that I've come to notice in dealing with the dance and different people in different places and different instructors and this type of thing.
Right.
People are they're so like headstrong about getting the 8 count basic. It's kind of funny to me that, and it would make more sense. And the part that's funny to me is that why wouldn't the instructors explain the 8 count in the music to the 8 count in the dance and allow them to put the two together in a way that works for them if that's the process by which they're trying to understand it. Why not tie it together? Because I've seen people literally, they're so busy worrying about making those 8 steps that they're not listening to the music at all.
But check this out. Let's go back.
Okay.
I want you to follow me going back.
All right.
See, the difference between what's going on now has been going on the last 20 years. The difference is that everything that we danced to had an influence.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So I want you to listen to this. This came with something. We as African Americans figured out how to use it in all sorts.
Okay.
And this is why we have Steppin. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
See that melody in that song?
Right.
James Brown was the first structure of what they wanted to do coming into another era of stepping.
Okay.
So what happened is that,
which is why his music is so timeless today.
That's why his music is so timeless. And you got to understand this. The thing that James Brown was doing, it's like Rakim the rapper. His lyrics fit his agenda of his conversation.
Right.
James Brown danced to the agenda of his music.
Okay.
So when guys were coming up, the influence that they saw through James Brown's movements and his dance,
right,
it matched the dance.
Right.
Because you could have been playing it if they had played Earth, Wind, and Fire. Mm-hmm. If they'd have played whoever back then that was in the group, the Barcades. His music fit the agenda. Mm-hmm. Because there was so many different melodies. And here's the thing about what people don't understand. James Brown was on 5 different labels. So as he went along, his music started to change.
I didn't know that.
And when you got into the 70s, the earlier 70s, that's when his music started taking this form of, I can relate to that music. Mm-hmm. Okay. Because everything that was going on when we were growing up, like hot pants, popcorn, all these songs match what was going on, Soul Train.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It was a Soul Train thing. Okay.
You look at the influences in Steppin. What were they doing? They were grabbing things from that era and they were using them because they matched the music.
Yeah, and that is true. Okay, so
see what's going on now with music now is we don't have an era where you can match anything. So that's why music is everywhere.
Right.
You can play this person, that person, and it does it, and it still fits to what's going on now.
Okay.
Back then, you had a flow going. No matter what club you went to, the music stayed, and it influenced. And then the thing that they don't talk about is that men evolved around the floor.
Right. Okay.
Everybody now is stationary.
Now that's true.
Big difference.
The dance, you're right, because there was a time when you danced before my time. They moved around. Right. They moved around the floor. Right. Which is part of the reason I guess that's the same thing when you're looking at World's Largest and other steppers contests. You have to rotate the floor. You don't just stay in one place.
Right. I mean, once again, how did that evolve?
Right.
Mary Green, what were they doing? They were evolving around the floor. Then all of a sudden, we didn't have the big floor. We had the stage. So now you're dancing right there.
Okay. And of course, like they always say, for those of you who don't know, Steppers on the inside, walkers on the outside.
And the thing that I heard a lot when I was coming into the knowledge of what was going on in Steppin was, I heard that word traveling all the time. You got to travel with the dance. You got to travel with your partner. You got to make your partner come with you.
Right.
It's got to be one.
Well, that's
But
always a good thing when you're dancing.
Getting back to the music is that there were so many different forms of what people gravitated to.
Okay.
So many different forms. Like
Now you mean
music
like, in general, or are you talking about in Steppin?
I mean, in Steppin, the music was influencing changes.
Okay.
So it's like this. So see, these songs cause things in you to do different.
Right.
It was more heartfelt.
But that's if you're actually listening to the music. Because what I'm looking for here, and this is where I'm going with this, is that so many people now have so much trouble tying the music to their dance. I think a lot is being lost in translation with these different instructors and across the country. Because the way for example, you and I know from back in the day, when we danced, it was the music that made us do the things we were doing. Like you just said with the James Brown, it was an influence. It was a way that you felt because of the music, not trying to just do a dance because of the dance itself, but because the music made you move a certain way.
Right. There was no right or no wrong. There was like you off beat, over the beat, under the beat, jumping over something. You know, it didn't have that.
Okay.
It was their formula of it's being made up as we go, but it's still staying in sync with the common ground to wherever you was at.
Right.
Okay. And the thing now is that they don't have those influences to stay in that era where they can constantly see what really needs to be done when it comes to listening to the music and moving not just yourself, but your partner.
Right. With that
so
music.
You can have an equilibrium in the dance.
Okay. When it comes to instructors, for example, what's your opinion about them not only teaching the basic or the dance itself, but the necessity to use the correct music in doing so?
Because they feel, I think what it is that they don't want to me, this is just my opinion.
Okay.
They don't want to pull off what's entertaining them.
Well, okay.
Instead of sticking, it's just like when we went to kindergarten, there was a curriculum. We had the letters on the board, we had the top, we had circles, we had shape. There was a curriculum that was constantly being taught throughout the education system. Now, you have people in the Steppin community, this is what they know, so this is what they're going to teach. They're not being mindful that when you leave this curriculum, you got to go to that curriculum, and that's got to match up
with what they've already been taught. Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? So everybody's agenda and everybody's curriculum is not the same. You got people wanting to teach you the get down, but they don't even know the measurement of numbers.
Right. Well,
they don't understand that formula to put those numbers together, not unless you show them step for step for step. So now you're just mimicking instead of knowing where the notes are.
Exactly.
It's just like when I dance, I had a metronome.
Yeah.
That is always in my head, that click.
Okay.
That click, 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 click. Nobody's thinking like that because you can see them counting in their movements.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the reasons I think I'm excited about Josiah Burt and the newly formed Chicago Academy of Steppin, and the fact that he's
Right.
doing this thing where he is actually teaching all of that. And by the
Right.
way, let me just get this. Let me put this quick plug in for Josiah Burt. For those of
Josiah.
you who are listening, he is actually doing an original style stepping, old school stepping boot camp at Sharnice's place there in Chicago on 69th Street. This coming up Friday, from 1 to 3. So if it's anybody that really wants to understand the get down and what's happening with that, it's a $30 workshop, and it'll be worth every dime. In fact, you'll probably want to pay him some more money before it's over. So I'm just putting that out there while we talking about it.
Yeah, you know you and him had something in common, right?
What's that?
Both of y'all had long ponytails going down y'all back.
Yeah, back in the day, funny. It's funny you say that, because somebody one day, me and him was standing and talking, and somebody said, "Are y'all brothers?" And no, we ain't brothers.
I know, right?
But we did go to the same high school now, so there you go. C4L, CVS, Chicago Vocational, Blue and Gold, best high school in the city. For those of you who from the city and think you can't, let me stop all that. Anyway, so the main thing here is I want to talk about it. I want you to get into this because I know you know this stuff. Something a lot of people who are in the stepping world don't know. Where the music came from, the steppers actually got down to. The B-sides.
Right.
They don't even know what a B-side is. Because nobody uses 45s anymore. The B-sides. Look at that right there. Ladies and gentlemen, do y'all see that? He got what? 45s. And
45,
what? The B-sides.
Hundreds of them.
Now.
Hundreds of them.
See?
I mean, they're so... Here's the thing that I've been wanting to do for a long time is play the B-side of the records, because if you start to listen to the B-side of the record, there's a reason why there's a B-side. Nobody ever explained that. They just tell you listen to the music.
Break it down for me.
But there are so many things in the songs and in the rhythms that will cause you to see and do different. Because the music was structured for dancing. It's always been like this. I'm still buying 45. I probably got 1,000 of them. And there are artists that I have not heard in years, but thank God that I have 45s.
Right.
And the thing is, and I'm not just saying this, if I was to go in the DJ booth and black the windows out and just went up there and played the music, I guarantee you they wouldn't leave. Because the music is going to cause you to do exactly what it was made to do, was to make you dance.
Right.
Not mimic what you see. Because we know when you're mimicking, the average person who's seasoned can see everything you're doing while you're dancing. I can hear your head knocking. I can hear your arms moving. I can see your legs struggling. Because when you dance to certain music, your body takes ownership to however long that song is. You dance that song out. They don't do that anymore because they go from song to mix to another song.
Somebody, I don't remember who it was. I saw somebody make a comment. I don't know if it was Tony Bowen. Somebody made a comment not too long ago about people mixing the music down. And they were like, leave them songs alone. Let them play out. Because, I mean, people do this mixing now and the song switches out. But it's like some of that stuff, because you still got your people. Now, this is another big, I guess, argument or to-do in the stepping world. You got people who get upset. They don't want to hear the old school. Because you got the people that want to hear only the new school. And it's like, you got to have all of it. You got to have all of it. I'm glad that there are new artists coming forward and bringing music to the table that, like the Carmichaels of the world, people like that. That's cool.
Right.
But you cannot get away from what created what we do. What has been a staple, a foundation of what we do for decades. Right. You can't just throw that away. That ain't gonna work.
Let me give you my thought on that. And for years, it's like a knife in my back sometimes. It's really a knife in my back. I'm going to tell you why. the problem with mixing, I'm not saying I'm been mixing music forever, but when it comes to stepping, it's kind of rude when we mix music. I'm gonna tell you why.
Go ahead.
Because if you're constantly mixing music and you're dancing with somebody, and you go from one song to the next, it's no way to clean break.
No break, right?
Because you don't know if she still wants to dance, and he don't
right.
know if he want to leave, or he don't know if they feel. There's no adhesiveness when you mix the songs together.
And this is still a couple's dance. They breaking into the 3-minute romance. They can't do that. They should stop that.
I'm just saying, to me, I know people are going to still mix your music. I get that. But sometimes when you mix it to the point where it doesn't make sense. If I'm going in from one song to the next, I do not want to go on a beat. It should be going into another melody.
Right. Right quick. Kathleen Rose Davis says the old music has different rhythm and timing throughout the song. New music stays the same rhythm throughout the song.
Exactly.
And Reggie Miles says every song is not a step of song. And that is what I want to get to. That's the whole point. Just because it has a slower tempo.
Check this out.
Go ahead.
Remember when we were kids and we was growing up, you knew what part to rip it up on,
You knew
right?
the breakdown, exactly. You knew when it was
going
to hit. Boom.
So in the songs they're doing now, there is no breakdown.
Stairway to Heaven.
There is
Think
nothing
about that
for you to catch on to and rip it.
One of the classic songs that happens in is Stairway to Heaven. You can't. It's like when them beats is about to drop. You know when that thing about to turn up and it's gonna turn down. That's
right.
That's one of the coldest ones ever. But see, if you play something like that at a stepper set in a different venue, they're gonna be looking at you sideways like, why are you playing that? Ain't that an old rock song? you know.
Let me tell you something that a lot of people don't know, and I knew this growing up. A lot of the black songs were being written by a white woman. She was in the Carpenters.
Oh, really? Okay.
She wrote, I don't know how many songs. You know what I mean? She made a lot of hits and wrote a lot of songs.
Okay. And
she played the drums. So a lot of the songs that you hear, like, let me play this for you. This is the Meters. They used to play this set all the time.
Yeah, I got a bunch.
They play these songs all the time, but you never hear them. And these songs, I used to hear this all the time when you go over there. The projects, they was playing the Meters. Either the Meters or James Brown. Because that music was so influenced in everything that was going on.
Right. Yeah, thank you, Reggie Miles. He corrected me. Pathway to Glory, that was a song I was talking about. But go ahead. Yeah.
But the thing is that if we don't get out of this mimic, we're not learning, we're mimicking. People are mimicking and memorize when to and when not to. Always tell people, if you want to learn how to dance, just stay in one place and move your leg from side to side, any direction you can go in. Because that's exactly what this dance is. It's 360 degrees. It's not you in the front, I'm in the back, you in the lane, I'm out of the lane.
That's right. Well, and again, this is why I've been hammering the idea of the necessity for more to be taught than just a simple pattern of 8 steps for people that are coming into this dance. And and let me not even call it a dance. The people that are coming into this culture, because it's so necessary for people to truly understand what it is that's happening here. You know, this is not line dancing, and I think some people get confused and they kind of treat it that way. You know,
but they're treating it, they're distributing it in a line dance format.
Exactly.
That's been going on for a long time. If I don't learn it, at least I know the line dance format to teach it.
Right.
Because there are certain songs to me that when you played it, it caused you to do more than just the basics.
Mm-hmm.
Where did the get down come from? Those guys went beyond the basics.
Way beyond. Way beyond.
You couldn't go no farther beyond the way they went.
Right.
When you had a George Macaroni
Mm-hmm.
or a Kim Bowie,
Mm-hmm.
you didn't know what you was going to get out of them, but you knew you were going to get something.
It's gonna be something. It was gonna be good.
And this is not what we're having now. There is no wow factor anymore. It's just basics as usual.
Right. Right. Now I agree with that. Now since you mentioned that, I agree with that 100% because one thing that I can remember is that you went to dance, but you almost went to see what you was gonna see next. What somebody was gonna do that ain't nobody done that was gonna be something to talk about afterwards.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And let me give you this. One of the things that made me more knowledgeable about Chicago Steppin is when I went to the Razzmatazz and the Rat Pack. That is when I learned what Herb Kemp was really doing and how I looked on the floor so much. Me and Ray would go and he would talk and do whatever. And I would just constantly watch that floor because their whole algorithm was totally different. But you could see that they were enjoying themselves.
Right.
See, you look at the floor now, everybody's looking around to see who's looking at them.
Right. And see if am I doing it right? Man, you said a mouthful right there.
I mean, it's like, show me something different.
Right. I agree. And I think I'm kind of glad you said that too, because it really trips me out how, and I literally have seen this with my own eyes, and I've seen an instructor, somebody tell somebody, you're not doing that right. You step too far. You step not far enough. That kind of crap. And it's like, really?
It's called the measurement.
But see, one person's legs is longer than the other one. One person got a sore foot. Whatever it is, they're gonna stop dancing. No. It's
let me tell you what the new age to me is being taught. So and so does it like this, so it's okay, or so and so did it like that, and that's okay. But the thing is are you mimicking, or are you knowing exactly what you're doing?
Right.
And I tell people all the time, if you can't move somebody without looking, you should be able to move a female dancer around you in a 360 without even looking, seeing where she's at.
Now, and since you mentioned that, they just this Sunday, was it? They had at Heroes the Jack and Jill blindfold dance.
Right.
And that to me is a superb teacher for exactly what you just said. You should know exactly where your partner is without even looking. I agree.
If you go back and you look at my videos of me dancing, if you notice, I'm never looking out. I'm never looking down.
Right.
I'm looking at where I'm at and knowing where you're about to come from. You should be able to reach back and pull that person in front and bring them around in a 360 without even moving a beat. But they're so structured in this way, that way, the flip over the top. I call it the cursey. Everybody wants the cursey. They want to roll a turn.
Well,
it's not about learning it and knowing why you're doing it like that. It's knowing I want to do it like that because such and such look good doing it, so that's what I want to do.
But to be honest with you,
teaching. Yeah.
Well, no, I was watching another contest the other night, and it started making me think. When I think some of these people use these terms because footwork is becoming such a lost art. People don't have it anymore. And I remember when I was coming up in the dance back in Chicago, and I'll never forget the first time an older woman told me, I think I was in the other place one night, and she was like, "Don't turn me." And I'm like, huh? She was dead on me, man. Don't turn me. You know what I'm saying? And you had to have that footwork. If you didn't have no footwork, it was like, and now we see so many different turns and all these crazy combinations. All that's fine, but where your footwork at? And I think they substitute footwork for turns. Well, I mean,
right, but let's check this out. Let's go back. When you went to a club, we'll say Chick Rick's.
Right.
Or Rat Pack.
Right.
Keeman's Club. One of them.
Mm-hmm.
What did they have in both hands? A cigarette and a drink.
You sure right.
On the dance floor.
And putting in work. And never spill a drop and never drop an ash.
Never spill a drop, never burn nobody with the cigarette.
What nobody spilling that good cognac,
the
don't
whole
play.
cigarette that burn up, and they still dancing.
Right.
Don't miss the beat.
That's right.
So, and you got to remember, the floors we got now are like cathedrals.
Mm-hmm.
What do we used to have at the Lilac Room?
A 10 by 10 spot.
10 by 10.
Get your dance on.
The first time I seen Footwork James, we was over there at the Marquis Room.
Yeah.
It's a true story. I was looking out the window, and I see two guys in front of the window. I'm just thinking they talking. Well, it's him in a fight.
Oh, man. That's funny.
It's Footwork. It's James in a fight, right?
Yeah.
And I'm looking like, wow, what are they doing? All I see is the guy fall to the ground, and he comes back in, grabs somebody, and gets on the floor.
Just
I go,
like
wait a
that.
minute.
Just
like that.
Yeah, that sound like him. That sounds just like him.
I mean, he came in there and danced about 8, 9 songs in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And we talking about dancing nonstop.
Yeah, I was going to say, back in them days, cats did that, though. Well, I mean, hell, we was younger, too. Ain't none of us. Man, now, but look, I be sore, Jack, after a few good dances.
I mean, you got to remember, there were so many guys that were entertainment without even looking for it.
Right.
They came with this thing called theatrics.
Yep.
Guys had canes. Guys had kink. Dudes had rings on their fingers.
Man, don't play
All
no
these
games.
were the elements of the dance. Like, oh, I gotta flip my wrist.
Yep.
They did so many different things in the
I
dance.
seen cats hang a cane on their wrist, Jack. Cut a few moves, put that joker back down, man.
That was.
Yep.
And that was a thing that was so normal. It was normal to see that.
You're right, exactly. And like you said, it was the theatrics of it. But I think we've gotten so caught up now in looking, like you were saying, being robotic and looking like everybody else, and like if they look like the next person, that they're doing it wrong. And it's just the opposite.
Yeah.
It's just the opposite.
And that was the thing. That was the thing back then, because you got to remember, I was hip hop,
Mm-hmm.
and I was stepping, I was housing, I was b-boying,
Right.
because I was in the DJ game.
Right.
But the one thing I could do was I could leave at 3 o'clock in the morning and go to the after hour, which is about 6 or 7 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Then go down on the canal street and get something to eat.
Right.
While the sun is beaming in my face and me looking like Dracula.
Doing that walk of shame to the crib in the middle of the morning. Everybody else on their way to work and you looking crazy as hell. Oh, yeah.
Exactly. We had so many after hour places
Yes,
that
sir.
It was just crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that, like I said, to get back to the dance is that there were so many different things that worked.
Right.
And we've gotten to the point where we cataloged everything and we left so much out. And we're trying to, and I said this 5 years ago, I said, Steppin is losing its identity.
Ooh, man.
It's in the witness protection program because it's lost so much.
Yeah, yeah. I don't disagree.
And where people like you and I are trying to get people to realize, come out of the dance and dance.
Man, get back to what we used to do. And the number one thing in this dance was we had fun. We had a damn ball.
Brothers Palace was one of the places that
West Side. I used to hit that spot. Yes, sir.
If I could have made $1 million selling DVDs for the Brothers Palace, because there were so many guys.
Mm-hmm.
Galinda's brother.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, Peanut. Nut was just. It's like he was in the circus.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Remember, the floor was what? How big was it, Brian?
10 by 10.
10 by 10. You did not have a lot of room to do. I mean, I'm so perplexed on how much movement we got now.
I was just getting ready to say, isn't it amazing how much got done in those small spaces, though, compared to what we got
cannot
now?
believe it. It was the size of 2 kitchens.
Right. And we still got it in. And everybody, and wasn't no bumping into nobody, wasn't no, and you still was able to get it in.
The dance was so right there.
Yeah.
And that's when I started dancing. I always knew you got to stay right here. Mm-hmm. Now that they got all this space, they're not using anything. They're just getting through it.
Yeah.
So the influence on, I think old school matters way more than people may think it do, because when you take the comments, it's like ABCs. Okay, we need them to learn it in Spanish now. And then when you get through with that, we need you to learn it in Greek. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're doing now. We're trying to teach, we're going along progressively, but we're dumbing down everything that counted.
Right.
Which is the count.
Right.
Well, I think the count hurt us more than it helped us.
You know, somebody the other day, and I wished I could remember who wrote this, but somebody made a post on Facebook not within the last couple of days, and they said that there's no such thing as a bad dance, because you have people that they'll say, "Oh, I didn't have such a good dance with this person or that person," but the point that they made that I thought was profound, and I'm glad that they made it, was they had to realize that whoever they're dancing with, regardless of whether or not they could dance, they were a beginner dancer or they were an advanced dancer, they figured out that they have to enjoy their individual dance and make that other person a part of the dance with them. And this was a male, because of course, as leads, it's our job to make sure that whatever level a person is dancing at, we need to meet them where they are and work with them and enjoy everything that we do within the dance and give them an experience along with a challenge. Because I've found that a lot of women really like the challenge of dancing with somebody that they haven't danced with before, that may be an advanced dancer, or and just give them some things that they haven't done before, because that helps them to grow their dance, and it helps you to help them along and to help yourself, because when you realize that you want to enjoy your dance, there's no such thing as a bad dance. Make every dance count.
Brian, let me attest to what you said.
Okay.
And how, when I came into this, Ray was taking me everywhere and talking to me and showing me and teaching me and we listened to so much music and played pool all night, all day. And he would have me dance around his pool table constantly. No, go that way. Go this way. Mm-hmm. Okay, if you miss this, take that drink. That a millionaire's drink. Now remember, it's a lot of alcohol. I wasn't a drinker.
Most steppers aren't, from what I understand.
I could not hit that table, but I had to dance around that table in close proximity. Mm-hmm. What he was teaching me, how to pace and set my strides. Mm-hmm. I always say the high steppers had the best strides in the game.
Oh yeah,
period.
No doubt.
They had the best stride. It was just a stride that I have not seen since the high steppers. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things that's missing, is that stride.
Well, it would
stride, be. Yeah, that stride taught me how to dance. It taught me how to engage the female into the dance. These guys are just pulling them through the turns and taking them into the spin. They're not guiding them into
like a
the
tilt
dance.
The world.
It's still the dance.
Remember that ride at the carnival, to tilt the world?
Children, I know, right? They're not guiding them. I see more I see more just doing than etiquette. The etiquette part of it.
Okay. Right quick. Sandy Paris Thompson wants to know what is the definition of high stepper.
High stepper is basically like, to me, this is my assumption of what I took out of it.
Now wait a minute, hold on. Before we go there, you got to remember
Yeah.
that not just the high steppers, but the high boppers, because you had the high bop.
All right, yeah.
Yeah. So but go ahead. I'm
Okay,
gonna let you have it.
The boppers is something else. High stepping was everything was up and out,
Mm-hmm.
but not far. Remember, when you look at how I dance, when you look at high steppers dance, they go up and they go out, and they all had their own algorithm. They were all different.
Mm-hmm.
From Lena to Cowboy to Ray to Black Rob to George Macaroni, all of them were different, but their similarities were the same. The algorithms were the same.
Mm-hmm. Now,
And
go ahead.
they just took everything to a point where it made so much sense to me.
Mm-hmm. Well, Reggie Miles made the comment that the high steppers were usually skaters. Now, and that's that's another thing
Yeah,
that
right.
was stepping
Yeah,
in general.
exactly. Man, hold on. Wait, I'm glad.
Yeah.
Kudos, Reggie.
Those two
You are
were
right about that because
skating and stepping was married at the hip. But go ahead.
exactly.
Yeah. Most
Watch
people.
this.
Go ahead.
I grew up skating,
Mm-hmm.
so I knew how to balance myself in anything I did.
Exactly.
Elder Brown taught us for
Stepping was
years.
damn near, for me, stepping was damn near like skating without the skates. That's
Exactly.
kind of how it was. Yeah.
You learn intricate things that feel good, and you know what it is. I mean, Chicago is the most versed in JB skating, which is the total opposite from Detroit.
Yep.
Chicago JB, Detroit roller skates. I
Yeah.
mean, literally.
You know they got a JB's class going on down here. Believe it or
Look, they
not.
got a skate rink out on here in Pulaski and Madison. If you probably gonna have to wear a bulletproof vest, but they got one on the corner.
Damn it, man.
But Miles right though. I learned a lot of Chicago culture just watching. I had to sit back and watch and watch and watch. And the one thing I loved about this city, it was like Detroit. These guys dressed up beyond, oh my God. That dressing was the thing that really pulled me in. I mean, it was the dress was like the world.
Well,
you had one guy, like when Fluky threw a party, everybody had on the same colors, and they had 50 different kind of outfits in the same color.
Yep. Well, see, but now, since you bring that up, which is another critically important thing, that's why I'm glad that like a lot of the events now, I still see some of my guys dressed. I don't think women across the country sometimes when they finally get to Chicago and they get to see some of them fits, nah. Look, but here go the thing. When it comes down to the stepping environment and steppers in general,
right.
That along with and the part of where we talk about being our dance being individual and not looking like everybody else, the clothes went with that. The dance style, everybody, you could pretty much, you knew a certain person's style. You knew when you saw that person, basically what they was going to look like doing their thing. And you knew that they were going to look different.
Everybody
Nobody
had that
looked
niche.
Right. Everybody had their thing, and everybody also had them fits. You had to have them maids. You understand me? Oh, and let's not forget, and I'm gonna say a word that most steppers that are new to this game ain't never heard. 40. 40.
40. Oh my God! 40. Look, oh my God! You gotta be kidding me.
40.
If you did not wear 40s, if you didn't have, look, Mike is on Halstead.
Man.
Start building up the corner, go upstairs and get your pants altered. I bought every color 40 you can imagine, and I still got them.
Now, that's something that now I'd like to see that collection myself. I ain't seen a pair of 40s in years.
I'm gonna take a picture of them. Check this out, man. Brian. Here's the thing what people don't know about 40s and ill skin boots.
Ooh-wee.
40s had a wedge heel.
Yep. And they
It
was
was
good
like
for dancing
this.
in.
It was like this. It
Yep.
was a wedge. The
Yep.
first time I called myself gonna go to Brother Palace and get down, I almost broke. I fell in between the seats.
Oh man. Yeah, you.
And Pimp JoJo caught me.
Man, look.
40 was the shoe, man. It was the shoe.
Now, y'all was about to say, now, for everybody who don't know exactly what we're talking about shoes. 40 was the staple shoe, the go-to shoe for steppers.
Right.
Period.
Yeah, it was very light shoes.
Yeah.
Didn't have no weight on them.
Yep. Those were
Until Maurice came out and everybody started wearing gaiters. And ill skin boots was very popular.
Yep.
And if you didn't get the leather belt made, you was out of style. I mean, it was so many different things about Chicago over the years that it was so much of a culture that it was just unbelievable for me to come in from Detroit, from dancers and dressers and roller skaters, and see a whole nother world that existed. And I think that the generations that are coming up now are not preserving that. You know, like you said, everybody knew what 40s was.
That's right. Look, let me right here. Let me give a shout out to my man Andre Horton, Steppin Dre. The mayor of 79th Street is on the line. This is my 79? Man. We go all the way back to grammar school, man. We go back from when we were shorties. You understand me? From the cradle to the grave. That's my man right there, Andre Horton. In the
look, is that Black Whale?
No. This cat here, man. This is a cat, man. He been on 79th Street, man, long as I know him. He's still on 79th Street doing his thing. So
probably I know I'd have ran into him.
I'm sure. Yep. Last time I was home, not the last time before last, I ran into him up in the 50-yard line on Monday night.
Right.
Yeah. Me and damn, I can't even remember who the hell I was with. Anyway, so look, I want to say this, Maurice, man. Look, I appreciate you coming in and hanging out with your boy, man, and kicking the bobo, you know what I'm saying? Talking about what we do, what we used to do, and getting down about this music, because I want to make one very important point to everybody that's listening, especially my newer steppers. And when I say newer steppers, I'm talking about people who've been in this game really less than 10 years. And what I want to try as hard as I can to reiterate is that you must understand this music. The dance is one thing, but you have to marry your dance with the music. You have to try as hard as you can to immerse yourself in the culture in ways that will allow you to truly understand what this dance is. I can't count how many people that I've seen go to Chicago, especially from here in Texas, have gone to Chicago and got there and been like, and left and was like, okay, now I get it. It's like all kind of light bulbs and switches went off when they started to understand the differences and what the important parts were, and the fact that have fun. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Have fun. Enjoy your dance. That's critical.
Very.
So, you got anything you want to leave us with, man?
I'm dead set with you with that. I've been trying to sit back and engage people into other things beyond just learning how to dance. Because what I'm seeing now is that if we don't leave anything for them to measure to know where they need to go when we're dead and gone, then we're gonna lose it. So what I've been doing is talking to guys around the country and saying we need to start building up a catalog of who we are. The Dre's, the Docs, and the Tinks. Yeah, we got YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
But we don't have messages saying, this is what y'all need to do. This is why you need to do it.
Right.
You know, Reggie Miles and a lot of these guys have put so many years. And I want people to think about this. We spent a lot of years in this dance and we leave nothing. That means just like the guy I taught in Detroit how to skate, and I said, now you need to teach somebody, and he didn't want to teach anybody
Gotta
because
pass
he
it
didn't
on.
want anybody to beat him. Guess what? I said, when you die, guess what goes with you?
It dies with you.
Everything that was taught to me and then behind me is going to die. Don't let Steppin die because we want to be ignorant and we want to hold on to it.
Because Steppin definitely has a legacy, and it needs to,
Yeah.
you know, and it's its own entity. It's just like I have literally told people to their face before, you need to understand one thing: Steppin don't need you. Steppin is gonna
No,
be
it don't.
Steppin.
It don't need any of us.
Exactly. It's gonna be here. But what we gotta do is make sure that it's here in its purest form.
Yeah. We need people to be stewards about keeping what's going in the right way. Don't be in a hurry. It's gonna come to you. Take
Absolutely.
your time and talk and ask questions.
Absolutely. Well, look, man,
Been a pleasure.
I appreciate you, brother. All like always. And you got a trip coming this way here pretty soon, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Beaver Ranch.
You're gonna be at
Beaver
the Beaver
Ranch.
Ranch. That's gonna be in October, right? Okay. Well, look, man, we looking forward to having you down here. And while you here, hopefully we can get you. I can get an in studio interview. Hopefully.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're gonna act up then. We're gonna really act
cut up sideways. All right.
Right.
We might even
Hey,
get
I
into
appreciate you, Brian. I appreciate everybody that tuned in, and just know this, man. We will survive.
Yeah, and I believe that. I do.
We will survive.
I do. So thanks, man, for everything. I appreciate you tuning in, my brother,
Hey, no
for
problem.
hanging with me
We'll
and
talk
making this
again
show be
real
what it is.
soon.
All right, brother. You take
All
it
right,
easy,
be
man.
good.
Peace.
Peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Mr. Maurice Thomas giving us some history, talking about the music and musicology of Steppin and why the two need to be married and are synonymous. You can't have this dance and just count to 8. You got to understand the music. You got to live by the music. You got to let the music in. You got to let it be a part of you. It's got to become embedded, ingrained in your dance. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I want everyone to have yourself a wonderful, wonderful evening. Enjoy the rest of the week. All my people that are in the path of this storm, Nicholas, batten down the hatches. I hope all is well and you come away from this in not a bad way. I want you all to have a great night. Peace out, y'all.